we also are mandated to carry out research in the same areas.
Okay. Now, since the institute was being established, like, is it still serving its purposes and objectives, or along the way, some of these objectives have been changed or due to circumstances?
The institute is still serving its purposes. Actually, it has grown stronger in serving its purposes in carrying out training, because the numbers, since we started training, the numbers have grown so much, and there's high demand and students are training, so the purposes have not trained, except the mandate being expanded to include research. The purposes for which it was established have not changed. It is still serving that purpose.
And also, infrastructure development is very important for a conducive environment for learners. How is the situation here at the Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute?
The Hotel and Tourism Training Institute is one of those key institutions that government has earmarked to transform into a center of excellence for hotel and tourism training. And for that reason, the government has provided funding through what we call the SEDE project, the Competitiveness and Enterprise Development Project, funded by World Bank, to provide funds for putting in place infrastructure, which include a new training hotel, classrooms, training labs, students' accommodation, and the like, to be able to lift this institution to what the government wants it to be as a center of excellence. And of course, that is in addition to providing even the tools and equipment. This being a practical institution or a skills institution, the infrastructure has to be complemented by the tools and equipment that we need to carry out training. So all this is in one package.
All right. So also there seems to be a timeline between the hotel and tourism. So can you enlighten us as to why the two were conjoined to come up with different academic courses?
Tourism, let me say hotel training is part of tourism. Tourism is much wider than hotel. Okay. So hotel is one of those services that are needed or that are required for tourism activity to take place. So in order to equip, to provide the human resource for the tourism sector, we need people who can work in hotels. We need people who can work in tourism, specifically like tour guides, travel agents, and so on. So these two move together. It cannot be one only. It has to be, they have to be done together for it to be complete.
Now, just like any other institute, we always want positive results, of course, but then are you impressed by the attitude that the students display on what they are studying here?
Many times when students come in, their attitude, there are a few who are really enthusiastic about what they have come to learn in this place, but also find those who have come just because the parent has sent them or it's the last resort. And some people think that because you have failed in the other area, so you should come, this one is the easiest to take. And so they come with sometimes with negative attitudes. But along the way, they come, they change and start loving the profession. They get to understand what this profession entails, and they get to also find role models within the institute whom they start admiring, and along the way their attitudes change, but also make deliberate effort to make them appreciate their profession. And we do this right from the time they come in. We induct them. Even the dress code, many times at tertiary institutions, students don't put on uniform, but here they have to put on uniform, basically because as they go in the industry, they will be required to put on uniform. So we start building and changing their attitude and the way they look at their profession right from the time they arrive in the institution.
There's a saying, sometimes people say that the population of a class or the students in a particular institute or class sometimes affects or impacts on their studies to some extent. So how is the population here? Do you receive an influx of students or is the population fluctuating?
It is true, the number of pupils or numbers of learners in the class can affect the training, and specifically for our kind of training, numbers are critical. We find that we have certain courses here which attract big numbers. Hotel management and hotel operations. Hotel management course, diploma in hotel management, then certificate in hotel operations. These two courses attract very big numbers of students, up to 80, sometimes 70 or 60. And yet, ideally, we should be able to have a class of about 25, maybe maximum 30 students for you to do good practical training. And so what we are doing is we've started dividing them into classes, in two groups, in two streams. For example, our current hotel operations class has two streams. There were 60, about 62. Now we've divided them into streams. And also the hotel management classes, we are aiming at dividing them, because we have realized that when they are too many, they are not learning well enough. So we are cutting them down, but the ideal number is actually around 25 or maximum of 30 students. And so we struggle with that, mainly because we do not have enough infrastructure on the ground, and also, of course, the staffing. Once you divide a class, that means you're getting a set of teachers to cater for that class. And of course, also the staff costs as well. So we have a challenge in that area, but we try to address it. And especially when they are doing practical lessons, they divide them. You find that if a class is about 60 students, they divide them into four, especially the hotel management class. We have 4 practical classes. So the teacher has to do 4 similar practicals for the different groups of students. And of course that is taxing, but it's something that we know that when we get the infrastructure that is already being worked on is ready, this problem shall be solved.
Okay, but speaking of certain courses that have many students going for, why do you think hotel management is being taken on by students more than any other course?
The students get 4 core skills, okay? So when they go out in the industry, they can get a job in any of those skills and be able to learn. They get core skills in front office operations, in housekeeping, in food service, and in food production. And so when they go out, they have a high chance of getting a job in any of those 4 core areas. That's why they attract a higher number of students. Meanwhile, pastry and bakery is a little bit restrictive, because it's mostly in the pastry and bakery area, and so that's what affects it. But of course, that one attracts students who really love that area. They've come here, they know they want to be bakers, and they take on that course.
So the courses that are being taught here, are they like highly demanded for? And if yes, which one in particular?
The courses are actually highly demanded for, because there are many hotels that have come up. Yeah. They are able to work in hotels that have come up. They can even work as receptionists in embassies or any organization that has got a reception. The students who learn hotel operations and hotel management can be able to work at any reception of an organization. They can even work in the laundry in hospitals. They can do housekeeping in hospitals, or learn or do laundry in hospitals, and even commercial laundries. They learn those skills. And of course, those who learn bakery, they can be able to learn to get employed in commercial bakeries, or set up their own bakeries, or work in these coffee shops and confectionaries that you see many of them in Kampala and elsewhere. So the courses are highly demanded. The students, when our students learn, they actually get jobs. And after COVID, when COVID came in and kind of disrupted the structure of teaching and so on, we've had a period when people from the industry were asking for staff or for workers and we couldn't locate them because there was a gap in graduation. They had those who had graduated were employed, and those when they were asking for staff, we could not offer them. Now we are able, because they have just finished the industrial training and they're available to take up jobs. Okay. Yeah.
Now, tourism being a sector that boosts the revenue of the economy and Uganda as a country, how important is the training that the students undergo here towards the socio-economic development of the country?
Tourism is one of those sectors, one of the 5 economic drivers in the country, the 5 sectors that are being looked at as those which drive the economy. And tourism, as we know, before COVID, was bringing the highest foreign exchange in the country, and that already makes the students who learn here to be the people that are actually going to contribute to the economy in a very significant way. And so our sector, we provide human resource for that sector, which brings in the highest revenue or highest foreign exchange in the country. So we provide the human resource. And for that only, we're contributing a lot. These students, when they come out, they don't necessarily have to look for jobs. If they are able to get capital, they can be able to set up their own businesses and even employ other people. Other people, they can be able to become employers as long as they have capital, because they have skills. So they are able to contribute to the economy without necessarily being a burden on it. They are able, because we give them the skills. Even entrepreneurship is one of those skills we give them, so they're able to go out and set up their own businesses.
Okay. Well, it's also very important for the public to know how which bodies assess and examine this institute, and also how the curriculum of study is being developed.
The curriculum that we are offering in this institution was developed in conjunction with the other institutions that offer hotel and tourism training, plus the industry. We get input from the industry, the employers, the people in the hotel and the private sector, and the hotel, the tourism. They give the input of what the institute, what the students should learn, what kind of skills they require. When we are developing the curriculum, we bring them on board. We also other institutions, we come together because we want to offer similar curriculum. And then we also had the NCDC, the National Curriculum Development Center. They were kind of our technical people guiding us to ensure that we develop the right curriculum. We even got input from our partnering institution in Austria, so that to align the curriculum to international standards. So we develop a curriculum in conjunction with the industry, our other training institutions, and even we have had international input in our curriculum. Now, as an institute, we are mandated to train and assess. So they do internal examinations that we offer them, because we have the mandate to assess. And right now we are working on ensuring that we get external examiners to come and do and critique the assessment and make a contribution to the assessment of students. And we are also working together as the hotel and tourism institutions. We have an association to see that we can have an examining body to assess all of us, because we find that there are gaps which we need to plug. Yeah.
Well, being an institute that has existed for so many years, that must come with a lot of progress, achievements, and positive impacts. How true is that about this particular institute?
This institution has come a long way and has had, we have progressed quite a lot. As I told you, by 2012, We had about 350 students, in between 250 and 350 students in here. But by now, actually this ending academic year, we had 779 students. So you can see we have grown in numbers. Yeah. We also see there is a lot of demand on the courses. So that it just shows that these courses are really highly demanded. We have also had the institution has grown. Right now we have, as I've told you, we have World Bank funding, where the institution is being, right now the transformation of the institution into a center of excellence is ongoing. The new hotel is already coming up, it's under construction. We have training kitchens and training restaurants joined to the hotel, which are already being constructed. Soon we shall have the classrooms, the construction of classrooms commencing. We developed the national curriculum. That's one of the things that we did. We have a curriculum that I've just talked about that has been developed, and this curriculum has been, we have over 30 institutions which have already taken this curriculum and they are offering it. This curriculum was approved by the National Council for Education and it's being offered. So we have grown. We have partnership. We have partnership with Makerere. We partner with Makerere University. We are carrying out research. We are doing research. We want to develop our local foods. So we are doing a cookbook, a local Busoga region cookbook. We started researching it. The first phase of the research is over. We are getting to the second phase into that cookbook, and we expect that we shall be going from to all regions of the Uganda to develop the local cuisine or traditional cuisine of the different regions in Uganda. So we've grown in the area of research. We also have partnerships beyond this country. We have partnership with an institute in Austria. We've had partnership with the institute with a school in Belgium. We are now working on other partnerships. We are working on getting a partnership or city and guilds, and so on. So with the curriculum we offer is accredited by city and guilds, and so we are growing.
Last but not least, like any other institute, there are challenges that any other institute would be facing, and there are times where we hit rock bottom. What are some of the challenges that the Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute has faced over the years?
The challenge that we have faced over the years the biggest challenge we faced over the years has been the inadequate infrastructure. Inadequate, appropriate infrastructure for this kind of training, because we do not have the right kind of kitchen, the right kind of equipment to do this kind of training. So we had that challenge for a long time. But even before that, over these past, since 2019, 2020, the government has provided quite some amount of money to buy the tools and equipment. That's why you see we have a coffee shop equipped. That's money that was provided for us to make sure that we have outlets. We've been able to improve the guest rooms. Of course, whatever we improve here improves the learning of students. If you do not have appropriate beds and linen for students to learn on, then that becomes a challenge. But that has been resolved. Government provided us with money. We have the appropriate beds. We have the appropriate linen for students to learn on. We have the appropriate equipment. So, and we have over these last, let me say, especially last 3 years, there's been a lot of support to ensure that we get these things in place. Otherwise, we had this challenge for quite a long time. Now, we have those equipment, it is true. It's not the ideal that we are aiming at. The ideal is what is being worked on to make sure that we've got the infrastructure that's going to be built and so on. So slowly by slowly, government has been equipping us in the interim, but the bigger thing, the bigger picture is also coming in place as they build the classrooms, build the hotel, and so on. That's the bigger picture. But on the ground, they've been plugging that gap. Another challenge that we've had that we still face is that this kind of training is quite expensive. It's quite expensive, and the parents cannot be able to afford that kind of the kind of money that is required to do this training to the level, the high level that we want. For example, a student right now should be paying 3 million per semester if we are to do all those practicals. But you can also see in our country how many students will be able to pay that. So we struggle also even with private students being able to pay the fees. Because right now we don't, of course, pay 3 million. They pay 1.4, between 1.4 and 1.5 or 1.9. But even that is not enough, because the training is practical. You've got to make sure that you buy the practical materials that are required. In addition, you've got to make sure the electricity and water bills are quite high. The maintenance costs are quite high. So the training by its nature is quite expensive. Another challenge that we face is not too much, it actually has kind of reduced over the years. In our area, there's been a challenge of getting the qualified and skilled instructors. Okay, you'll have people that have got the skill, very good with the skill, but maybe they are only diploma holders. They've not got that knowledge that you need, because with this kind of, you need the knowledge and you need the skill. So you need to find an instructor who can combine both, and this has been a problem. Then, of course, problem of cost of materials. The materials that the students use, of course, over the time have become expensive. A student is supposed to learn how to prepare rice, for example, different types of rice, and now rice is becoming expensive. Beef, we've got to prepare it in different ways. So the training really is expensive, and so that's been a challenge. But also the other challenge has been the attitude of the public out there towards training in hotel and tourism. It is because we do things that are similar to what people do in their homes. They think it is okay just to get anybody to come and do this, and so people think this training is not really. It's not something that you should send a child to school for. If a child has failed everywhere else, then you bring him here. And that kind, of course, doesn't make you get the high caliber kind of So we've got to struggle with our students when they come, but also to get parents to send us their students here is not easy, except those who are looking at us as a last resort. So those are some of the things that really that we've been struggling with over the years.
All right, so we heard it loud and clear from the principal. There seems to be a lot of activities that take place here at this institute. Now we are going to go and explore some of those activities. We could be the kitchen, we are going to go to the housekeeping department, we are also going to the coffee shop and so many other places here at the Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute. Stay tuned, this is the Education Forum. Right, we are still here at the Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute, and there are so many places we have been to in this institute, but this particular one is the one-stop center, the place that we all want to go to, and fill our stomachs. But yes, we are going into the demonstration kitchen, where of course all the magic takes place. We are going to see the kind of practical skills that are being instilled in the students here. Come with me and let's see what takes place here. So yes,
I am here in the demonstration kitchen where, of course, the students are being told to have magical hands, where they're being told how to make the cakes, to make that yummy food with all the aroma. And if you're in here with me right now, I am craving. My tummy just can't stop complaining. And I'm going to have a bite after this. But joining me on the show right now is the head chef, who also is the head of Department Food Production, Gideon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you too. Thank you.
Okay, Gideon, I'm dying. I'm really dying. I want to taste this right now, but please tell me what goes on in this place.
This place, we do the training of the students. Apparently, we have students who are doing certificate in food production. And we have, our menu today is our chicken, preparing a grilled chicken with the potatoes. And that's what the students are doing now, apparently. And of course, at the end of the lesson, we shall have to taste the chicken, and it will be very, very delicious.
What specific dishes are being prepared here? What specific dishes are being prepared here?
Today we normally do prepare a lot of dishes, but apparently today we are preparing chicken. Because when the students are learning, we take them in a series of learning. So apparently they are doing the chicken, and we have to grill our chicken. Then after we make our mushroom sauce that we have to serve with it, with the parsley potatoes. And I know that dish will be the best. Yeah.
So there are so many dishes that we eat in different places we go to. Now, particularly here, there are dishes that you are making. So what makes the dishes that you make here different from the other dishes we eat in other places?
They might not be so different, but of course when we have students, these students go in many places. When we train our students here, they go to so many places. And eventually when they go there, they get particular recipes from there. And for us, when we are here in the class, including the chefs we have, we get those recipes, combine them together. And when we combine them together, we at least go a bit further than the other people who are preparing those dishes. And that's what makes our dishes a bit different from the other ones.
Gideon, all professions have values and qualities. So what values and qualities should a chef have in order to be successful in this business?
A chef must be trustworthy, must be hardworking, must be cost effective. Whatever we do, we have to learn how to do the costing of the food. Then the chef must be very creative. You must create recipes so that at least you can make a difference from other chefs.
What does it take to make a recipe?
The recipe, it takes time. Of course, you have to look at some of these items which are in the market, because every day there are some plants, some spices which are coming in the market, and you always have to make sure you bring them, because now, formerly we used to use different recipes, we used to use different items. Now there are things which keep on coming in the market, and whenever they come in the market, we have to make sure we use them.
Thank you very much, Gideon.
You're welcome.
All right. Yes, you are still watching the Education Forum here on UBC TV, and we are here at the demonstration kitchen where we get to see the magic happening, the cooking, the baking, and so much more. So you may be outside there and you are thinking of a course to do, or probably you want to take this course of hotel management, or probably you want to take a course in tourism. Well, this is what happens here, and it's actually a very beautiful course. Well, this is the Education Forum. Stay tuned, more coming your way. Now, from the demonstration kitchen where the different delicacies are being made or being practiced, now we are here at the coffee shop where, of course, the baristas are being trained to make coffee and so many other beverages. Now, joining me on the show right now is Stephen, who is the instructor for the baristas. Welcome to the show, Stephen.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Stephen, take us through what goes on in this place.
Where we are right now, it is a demo place for baristas where we do the practical part training for the baristas of the country. Right here, as you can see, we have different types of machines because coffee has a lot of equipment. We equip or we train our students on how to use these machines, how to use them to produce a variety of beverages. We don't only train them to produce coffees, we train them to produce all the different types of hot beverages as well as cold beverages. Yes.
Speaking of the hot beverages and the cold beverages, do you mind explaining more in detail?
Okay, thank you. Now, on the hot beverages, as I said, we do take them through a variety of coffees. We start with the basic coffee, and that is espresso. As you can see, these are espresso machines. We take them through how they are supposed to use the machine and produce a perfect espresso. Then we also train them on how to brew different coffees such as the French press, the use of the jug method, and other types of coffees. In addition, we train them on how to produce different teas, such as the dawa tea, the spice teas, the African teas, etc. Then we go ahead and take them through how they can produce the herbal teas, because we know very well that people are now more sensitive as far as health is concerned. Those are the hot beverages. Now, on the cold beverages, we do take them through different types. For example, the smoothies, the milkshakes, different juices, mocktails, etc. So when a student comes here, our work is to transform him or her from zero to a perfect barista, so that he's able to run a coffee shop like this independently. Yes.
Well, speaking of a barista, what kind of values and qualities is a barista supposed to have in order to be successful in this business?
Wow. For one to be successful in this industry, a barista, you must be someone who is people-oriented. People-oriented, someone who is creative. You must be able to create. There's that bit of art, especially when you are making the specialty coffees, like a cappuccino. A guest wants, or you can make for your guest, for example, you write his name or welcome or a heart, that when the guest is served that coffee, actually, he even doesn't want to finish because it is looking beautiful. So that element of art, but also the element of customer care is very key, because when you're a barista, you need to talk to the people, you need to talk to your customers, and to show that you care. First of all, care about them, and also how you welcome them, how do you engage them. So you must be that kind of person who has that bit of customer care.
Right. Well, thank you, Stephen. I'm getting to familiarize myself with this place, and the adventure here at the Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute is amazing. And like the academic registrar said, that some of us get to minimize some courses, but then we get to forget that the unemployment rate in Uganda is very high, and we need to create jobs for ourselves. And remember, as you're creating a job for yourself, you are creating jobs for other people. Well, you're still watching the Education Forum here on UBC TV. Stay tuned. Tourism boosts the revenue of our economy and also creates 1,000 of jobs for people, and it also improves on the infrastructure of the economy, and not forgetting that it plants a sense of cultural exchange between foreigners and the citizens of our country. So joining me right now on the show is the academic registrar for the Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers. I'm called Mrs. Oyako Christine Adongot, the Academic Registrar of Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute. Currently, we have 3 main departments in the training area. We have hospitality, and that comprises of pastry and hotel students. Then we have tourism, and then we have cross-cutting. Those are the main departments we have in the training area.
What is cross-cutting all about?
Cross-cutting are those issues those course units that students all do together. Like we have entrepreneurship, we have accounting, we have customer care, we have business communication. So all the students have to do those courses. Languages like French, Kiswahili, German. So students do that.
Okay. Now, for
Yes.
someone joining an institute as this one, they
Yes.
may be asking themselves what kind of courses are offered in an institute like this one. So, what are some of the courses being offered here, and what does it take to get into them?
We have 3 courses at certificate level, and we have 3 also at diploma level. At certificate level, we have national certificate in hotel operations. We have national certificate in pastry and bakery, and a national certificate in tour guiding and driving. At diploma level, we have diploma in hotel management. We have a diploma in pastry and bakery management, and we have a diploma in tourism management. Those are the courses that we have currently. Then we also have short courses. Short courses, we have those that are tailor-made. You come with your need, and then they design you a course to suit your need. Short courses, we have things like pastry and bakery, skills in baking. We have in hotel all the four departments in the hotel section are done. You can come for food production, you can come for food service, you can come for housekeeping, or you can come for front desk. Then of recent we also have barista.
Okay.
That's under F&B, and it is now the in thing. Many people want it.
Okay.
So we are actually beginning, we shall soon begin a course at certificate level. Then also,
Well, before you could go any further,
Yes,
speaking
please.
about barista being the in thing that everybody wants, why do people want this particular one?
you know, people like taking things like coffee. And so coffee, you know how coffee is so important to many people.
Yeah.
So because of that, and the many things that are made, you find it's attracting many students, and even more people want to open up coffee shops.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are there any other courses apart from those?
Then we also sometimes train students on non-formal programs under Ministry of Education, where people just come and acquire skills, and is sponsored solely by Ministry of Education. Then of recent also we had the DIT bringing some trainings here. So that is most. Then also we sometimes go out, do what they call clinics, help the people who are already working to equip them and to enhance their skills. So we also get engaged in that.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So do your practical lessons give the students this rigorous exposure that benefits them after the completion of their studies here?
You know, we are at an advantage that we have this hotel here. So our students actually do practice. Like as I talk right now, they reported on the 15th of August. Right now there are students who are on attachment.
Yeah.
So you can imagine these students joined last semester and now they're on attachment until they finish. Then also every week we conduct practicals in the various areas where they are, in the various course units.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now, so in many different institutes, there are particular courses that have a bigger or larger number of people. So here also, there should be like a course that has more number of students. So would you mind identifying what course that is and why it has more students?
Now, here, hotel management at diploma level attracts most students. And then also hotel operations. Like the last intake, the certificate students, hotel operations, are 89. And then, of course, diploma in hotel management, they're always the ones in the lead in the number of students that are admitted and the number of people who have interest. Yes. You know, there are so many people opening hotels.
Yeah.
And it's also easy to get a job when it comes to hotels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And also some courses. There are some courses that have gender imbalance. You find that certain courses have more males than females, more females than males. Why do you think that is so? And what experience do
Now-
you have as an academic registrar here?
My experience in terms of gender, when it comes to hotel management and hotel operations, at diploma level, you find maybe it is like the ratio is on almost 1-to-1 when it comes to boys and the female and the males. But at certificate level, there are more ladies than males. And I feel out there people still think, or when people think about hotel, out there I think they think it's just about cooking, and yet it's more than cooking actually.
They don't like cooking.
Yes, when it they think it's
It's
cooking.
for women.
The males most times are slightly more than the ladies. Though the ladies still, you know, this thing of gender, ladies now, ladies still go for it because it was guiding the tourists. Now, like we have introduced paramilitary, where students learn how to do some shooting. But we see girls there, and sometimes when they lead. But I've discovered more males. Pastry and bakery, it is on, the ratio is like 1-to-1 almost. It's to do with, because these days you see everybody is baking, male and female, and no that kind. And actually at certificate, at short courses, pastry and bakery is the most marketable.
And also, what does it take for a student to join an institute like this one?
For us, we are following the requirements of National Council of Higher Education. Now, for certificate students, you should have done Senior 4.
Okay.
And the National Council of Higher Education says someone should have a minimum of 3 passes. For us, we have raised it a bit to 4, one of which should be in English. That is the requirement, actually. So once you have that, then the rest you can bring them, like your ID, application fee, you apply. Then, of course, we take them through interviews. A-level, for diploma, we take people from A-level, and then those who are upgrading, who have maybe done a certificate, those who have done DIT a certain level, level 2. So we take on them. But also A-level, the minimum requirements are 1 principal pass and 2 subsidiaries at the same sitting. Then Senior 4, you should have got at least 5 passes. But my experience out there, since I'm talking to viewers, is that some schools misguide the students. You know for sure that a child has not even obtained the required, let's say, passes for going to A-level. But they go ahead. Someone has 2 passes. You make the child go ahead to do A-level. Then some of them, you find they pass A-level. They have the requirements for A-level, but they don't have for O-level. So everywhere, it's not even only here. Requirements for going to do a diploma, for instance, you should have 5 passes at Senior 4. So I let the careers masters out there in secondary schools actually counsel their students. Once a child wants to do A-level and he has less than 5 passes, they should either encourage that child to repeat or to branch. Actually, even branching, the person should have 3 passes so that that person can do a course. Otherwise, progressing may be difficult. So that's a challenge I've really met. And I normally advise the parents, maybe this child needs to repeat, and because now, and there are those that will have got 2 passes, went to A-level, and then again failed A-level. So that person does not even qualify to do a certificate, I see. So I just pray that parents out there should know that, and the people at school, secondary school, should guide the children very well, so that they don't make those errors.
Well, speaking of counseling, as an institution, do you counsel the students when it comes to career guidance? Like, some of them join the institute and don't know what course to do, what the course they're going to do involves. Are they given some kind of career guidance when they're joining?
Okay, when they are joining, actually what happens? For us, we have taken as registrar's office, we don't even allow you to first apply. We always encourage first to look at your papers. Are you getting?
Yeah.
We encourage. We don't want people to pay and then in the end we tell them that you don't qualify. So to avoid that, we look at your papers, then we encourage you. And then of course we tell you the importance of this, what this is involved, and then someone makes a decision. But some of them come when they already know what they want.
Now I am here at the housekeeping department where, of course, I'm going to meet Christine, who is the head of department housekeeping here at the Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you very much.
Well, Christine, introduce yourself.
My name's, I'm called Christine Letio Drametu. I'm the head of housekeeping.
Okay, Christine, being the head of department housekeeping, what is your role as the head of department here?
My role is to ensure that the housekeeping department runs smoothly without any complications. I ensure that the staff themselves are working well as per the set standards. And basically, the different departments in housekeeping also are run professionally and economically to make sure that the hotel and the institute does not make losses.
So what do you consider when creating or making a guest room appear the way it appears?
First of all, the housekeeping department is one of the biggest departments in the hotel. Okay, the housekeeping department reaches almost in all the other areas of the hotel. We are the key in the organization or in the hotel. Many people refer to us as the heart of the hotel because there is nothing that happens that housekeeping does not get involved in. The housekeeping department basically deals with the cleanliness of the entire establishment. We ensure that the entire establishment is clean to standard. We ensure that the hotel is safe because safety is one of the major things that housekeeping deals with. We ensure that the hotel is attractive. Flowers, the gardens, and all that to make sure that it is safe. We also deal with ensuring the comfort of our guests because the housekeeping department deals with the room, and the room is one of the most important things to the guest. It is their area of relaxation, of privacy, and when we are working, that is how we work, and that's what we...
Now, there are times where guests are complaining. There are a lot of complaints from guests. So how do you solve some of those complaints from guests?
Okay, first and foremost, in each and everything that we do, we ensure that standards are followed. And when you put these standards in place, they're to ensure that you minimize on issues that can bring up about complaints. We have, for example, when you're training them, you show them how to make sure that they have a trolley which is well set. Now, on this trolley, they have everything that they need to clean the guest room. So to make sure they don't move too many times in a guest room. They do it maybe in 1 or 2 trips to the guest room, because if they move too much, you never know. The guest is in the room and looks very unprofessional. So we teach them professionally to make sure that their trolleys are well stocked with each and everything that they need.
All right, joining me next on the show here is the tourism instructor, David. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, David, introduce yourself.
My name is David Jethro Sengendo, an instructor here in the Department of Tourism.
Right, David, as I was moving around, I noticed you teaching the students. So how does what you teach them help them? How is it important to them?
Oh, thank you very much. Actually, under tourism, we have sections where we prepare different students for different areas in the tourism sector. We have the nature and wildlife-related section where we teach people who are going to be predominantly working in the nature-related areas like national parks. Others are working like in the zoos and other areas. So in my section, I normally teach people animal behavior, how to interpret birds and their behavior, also plants as well. So that when they receive tourists in different areas, based on their interests, they are able to handle them and satisfy their needs. Yeah.
What kind of values and qualities is a tour guide supposed to have?
Actually, a tour guide is one person who has to have it all, if I can say. He or she has to have it all because we are receiving people from different areas of the world with different values, with different needs and demands. So we have to train students to have almost all values, respect all values, and as well be able to handle people and satisfy them basing on
Okay, so joining me on set right now is the Deputy Principal of the Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute, who is going to further explain to us, tell us and educate us more about this institute. Welcome to the show, Master Moses.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell me, how do you people instill the discipline and behavior among us, the students here?
Thank you very much, UBC, for this opportunity. One, as you said, this is the Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute, and the only one of its kind. It is an institution specialized in training human labor for the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, but specifically tourism and hospitality. We train for people to work in hotels, to welcome visitors, to entertain visitors. So number one in dealing with visitors or our sector is hospitality, is happiness, is discipline. So that one is the basis of everything we do. Discipline number one, hospitality, organization, and all the time welcoming.
Okay. Well, just like any other institute, you must be having leaders here, because every institute needs leaders. So what procedures do you follow when picking out leaders for an institute such as this one?
Leaders of the students?
Yes.
Yes, you said we're a tertiary institution in Uganda. And it is by law that a tertiary institution must have students' leadership, what we call the guild. So we have a guild president who has a guild cabinet, who has a guild council, and those students do their elections democratically. They vote, they campaign, and they elect. And when they're elected, the vice president goes through the process of becoming a leader. He takes an oath, we train them, then he makes his cabinet. Then the guild council is elected by the students. So in place, there is a guild government that takes concern of the students' affairs outside the class.
Okay. I'm very sure that the guild president of an institute like this one is very different from any other institute. So what are the values or qualities that a guild president of an institute like this one is supposed to have?
One, as I said in the beginning, discipline. Must be highly disciplined because you must lead by example. Honesty. Must be very, very honest. He must be very exemplary. One thing, smartness is key because he must dress like a manager. You know, we are training hospitality managers. He must dress like a manager. He must be able to speak oratory. He must be able to give guidance. He must be able to lead and tell the other students what to do in the right time. He must be a good time manager. So all those are qualities that make any other leader are the ones that we inculcate in the students' leadership in this institution.
Okay. And how do the trainings here contribute to the socio-economic development of Uganda as a country?
Very good, very good. In fact, I think among all the institutions that Uganda has, this one is the one that has a direct contribution to the socio-economic development of this country. One, our industries, the skills that we give the trainee job directly, either direct employment or self-employment. Because the hotels in all over Uganda are thirsty of employed people. And you know, food industry is the biggest. Tourism is growing in this country at a very fast rate. Visitors need people to guide them. So we are training the tour guides, food people, people in housekeeping, people who welcome visitors. So that one is direct employment. Leave that alone. Self-employment is direct. Because after a student from this school, after training in food production, he can make a fast food industry. He can make a small restaurant in these many towns growing up. He can produce food and sell. We teach pastry and bakery. Wedding is the order of the day now. Birthdays, students here make cakes. Even before they leave this institution, they are selling their own cakes. Even before students leave this institution, every hotel around Jinja is coming for them, part-time work. So as far as that one is concerned, employment directly. Poverty because they are getting jobs. So have a direct contribution to the socio-economic development of this country.
All right, I hope you enjoyed the show and learned something. That is all we had on the Education Forum today. Until next time, stay tuned.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.